Daniel 8. Let's read verse 8. Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken, and for it came up four notable ones toward the four winds of heaven. Down to verse 20. The ram which thou sawest, having two horns, are the kings of Media and Persia, and the rough goat is the king of Greece, and the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. That's referring to Alexander the Great. Now that being broken, whereas four stood up for it, four kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power. That's prophesying that Alexander the Great, Greece, when he died, his kingdom would be split among his four generals, Lysimachus, Cassander, Ptolemy the First, and Seleucus. And what do you know? That's exactly what happened. Daniel was written in the 6th century BC, and Alexander the Great died in 323 BC. It clearly happened, and it's not the only thing that was clearly happened. For example, Daniel 11, there's so much in there. Obviously, much of that clearly happened, and it happened specifically. For example, Daniel 11, verse 6, everybody knows that the king's daughter is referring to Berenice. These prophecies were so accurate that liberal scholars decided, well, we can't deny that it's referring to Alexander the Great's empire splitting four ways. So what do? We'll claim it was written after the fact. So now liberal scholars claim it wasn't written in the 6th century BC, it was written in the 2nd century BC. What's the problem with that? Nobody would have accepted it then. That would be like me writing a prophetic book right now, talking about a civil war in the United States and a tall president being murdered in a theater, or talking about the United States purchasing a large piece of land from France in 1803 called the Louisiana Purchase. If I prophesied that would happen now, they'd laugh at me because it happened 200 years ago. Daniel never would have been accepted if it was written after the fact. It would have been laughed at. So read Daniel 8, verse 8 and verse 20 through 22. It's clearly referring to Alexander the Great's empire splitting four ways. Liberals have no answer for that. It clearly was prophesied to happen, unless you believe the ridiculous idea that it was written after the fact, which never would have been accepted. So believe, teach your kids to believe the Bible is accurate. It is God's word. Believe it. Peace, friends.